welcome back to another episode of Everyday Bubbly with Taylor and Allegra. We have a great episode coming up for you guys, but thank you so much for tuning in and for being here. And we're just gonna get rolling because we got some stuff to talk about and we're still trying to do our shorter episodes. So I'm not gonna even fill this with filler. Let's start with our cheers.
Do it.
Let's go.
Wait, are we going to talk about what we're drinking? It's going to be so fast.
Let's do that.
We're both doing variations of the same thing.
So I have Empress Gin. And which one is this? This is the one with the
elderflower.
Elderberry?
Elderflower.
Yeah. Elderflower, Empress Gin, Richard's Rainwater, Ice Cube.
Done. I have Richard's Rainwater Grenadine.
No ice cube.
No ice cube. I was telling Allie, I've just been having a little bit of tummy distress. TMI, sorry for the listeners, but
it happens. And when it happens, it sucks.
It sucks. And alcohol is just not on the docket for me right now at this point in time. So we got some Grenadine. I'm doing a little Shirley Temple adjacent thing.
And we're drinking them in the cutest Meanwhile brewing glasses. I love these wine glasses from Meanwhile.
Thanks, I just took them in my pocket. Well, I did. Sorry, Meanwhile. I'm branding for you.
We spent enough money with you at Meanwhile. We spent enough money there. Don't worry.
No, I really do. So I'm okay with that.
Cool. Well, what is your cheers of the week?
My cheers of the week is so in line with the topic of our episode today. And I had my first ever private Pilates session. Ooh. So as part of my teacher training, you have to have prerequisites of a certain number of hours of privates. And I did my first one. And when I tell you, I was so sore from it. It was like so hard. I really love the master trainer and like the owner of the studio, but I was getting drill sergeant vibes.
Oh yeah.
While I was like on the reformer.
Are you like, am I in Cadet Kelly?
I felt like I was in Cadet Kelly. Like fucking Ren Stevens was going to come out twirling her little rifle at me. It was so hard. But it was just really cool to get things broken down and get such individual attention. And I learned a little bit more about the anatomy.
Work on format, work on the holistic view of it all.
Yeah, it was really cool. So I'm cheersing to my first ever private Pilates session.
That's a good cheers.
Yeah.
Did you know that Ren Stevens lives in Austin?
I did know that. And I think in like Westlake or something.
Yeah, she's really good friends with like my high school friend. I see them on Instagram together all the time and I'm like, really? So jealous.
Does she like need other new friends? Because like
Probably.
I will volunteer as tribute if I would love
She
Ren.
seems so cool.
What? Christy Carlson Romano.
Yeah, she's not actually Ren Stevens. That's just
and she
her
was
character.
Also Kim Possible. And fun fact about me, my ringtone, my text tone was the communicator for years.
I need to get a communicator because I'm going to be Kim Possible for Halloween. I have the exact outfit.
Why did I literally just forget Adam's name? That was so weird.
He's going as the naked mole rat.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know what he's going as.
Okay.
But wouldn't that be funny if he was going as
really
that
funny.
instead of...
We're unstoppable?
Yeah.
Honestly, that would be so funny. He just wears one of those like skin suits and like gets like draws the teeth on. Wait, he should. And like a bald cap. Would I see it now. I see it now. Let's make it happen. Are you guys
hosting the Halloween party?
We can.
Yeah.
We don't have any plans to, but now we do.
Yeah.
Just so I can see that.
That would be amazing.
We should host a Halloween party. I literally haven't even thought about Halloween. Done. It's happening.
Man. So good.
What's your cheers of the week?
My cheers of the week is that it's officially June, which means that I can use my Old Navy Super Cash.
Are you kidding me right now? You're such... So I'm sure
I've been waiting for weeks to use my Old Navy Super Cash.
We talked a few weeks ago, probably 2 months ago now, about like where to shop now that you're in your 30s to not feel old. And both of us were like, you know what? Old Navy dresses. What? We have both.
Oversized, comfy shirts.
Oh, I'm not wearing anything. I had an Old Navy top on earlier and I took it off. But like, you guys, Old Navy actually is that girl.
It slaps.
I don't think people say that.
It slaps so hard. I don't care.
She says it slaps. I'm saying it is that girl. You get the energy of what we're trying to say right now.
But they're making a big old comeback if they...
I'm telling you, it's the new Abercrombie.
It's the new. It's that new.
It's that new.
And I can't wait to burn my super cash because it's $50 on $125, which means I'm basically getting $125 for $75, which is amazing.
What do you have? Do you have your eye on anything specific?
I want to get this really cute midi silk skirt. I got it in black already, but they have it in this beautiful, like creamy champagne color.
Ooh.
So I want to get that.
Do you know
I want to get a bodysuit.
They have bodysuits? I didn't even know that.
Mm-hmm. And just some cute crop tanks.
Cute.
Summer ready.
No, if we were awful, I'm just admitting to awful things on this podcast today, you guys. I'm so sorry. But if we were really, truly trash people, we both made orders, which is how we got our super cash. What if we had returned everything and then used our super cash to buy it back?
So what I did was I shopped in person and I got a bunch of stuff. Loved it. But they didn't have a pair of jeans in my size. So I went online to buy said pair of jeans. And when I was online, I was like, well, let me just look at a few other things. Found the boyfriend shirt that I'm wearing, and they had way more colors, and it was $10 cheaper online. So I rebought the boyfriend shirts that I had bought in store online. I also rebought the midi skirt because it was also $10 cheaper online. And then I just went and returned the ones that I had bought in person because it was the exact same stuff, and I saved $50.
I love that.
So, and I got like $50. I bet you could do that.
Yeah, how would they know?
Keep your super cash.
Because it's not like I have an account with
the only thing is
Old
like
Navy.
The only thing is like the time difference. Like between buying the original stuff and when the super cash is valid, I don't know if it would fall between the 30-day return policy, because I think my super cash was started 30 days after I bought stuff. They want you to come back.
Mine didn't. So I went shopping right before I was supposed to leave for Ecuador. So like maybe the 15th or so. And it started the 1st of June.
Well, regardless, there's probably ways you can trick the system.
Yeah, if you want to really fuck up the system and have them pull a Red Lobster going bankrupt moment, which we don't want.
We don't want.
We don't want it. But if you want to get the most bang for your buck,
you could consider that. Or you could just use it to get more stuff because they have a lot of good stuff. So that's my cheers of the week. Old Navy Super Cash coming in hot.
We're cheers into that.
June 1st.
Cheers to super K-ish.
Super big bucks.
What are we chatting about? As you take a sip, sorry.
What we were chatting about. So we were looking back. We talked wellness in our wellness journeys in our 3rd episode ever. So way back in the day. And we thought it'd be good. At first we were like, oh, it's going to be like a wellness update. But then we're like, oh my gosh, so much time has passed. It's not even an update. It's just like where we are in our lives with our wellness journey. Because you and I, it's such an important priority to both of us, but our journeys are so different.
Yeah.
So just sharing where we're both at in wellness, what's a priority to us right now, and hoping that you can find some, things that we're talking about that
maybe inspire yours.
Yeah, or
inspire
things you're also thinking about. And yeah, it's just, we have two different it's weird that we prioritize the same thing, but we're very different about it.
So let's maybe dive into this by saying what we prioritize the most right now, which is, as I'm thinking through it, I'm like, I don't even know what I prioritize the most right now.
Taking a step back even further, we've talked about wellness in like the couple different phases. There's spiritual, there's mental, there's physical, right?
Yeah.
And so I would say out of those 3, my top priority right now is the physical. A couple weeks ago, I really was just feeling kind of unhappy with where I was at physically. I feel like I had horrible eating habits. I was not eating like throughout the day, then coming home and eating everything in sight. I've been the heaviest I've been in a while. And no, I'm not saying skinny, skinny, skinny. It's more so like I just didn't feel good. I didn't have energy. I wasn't sleeping well. And that's really been what's kickstarted my focus on my physical wellness. So that to me is the priority of what I'm kind of talking about today.
Yeah, I love doing a prioritization of those 3 buckets. I think that's really cool. I guess I would say for me right now, it's kind of, weirdly enough, maybe like a tie. You have tie with like 3 things, but like a tie between mental and spiritual wellness for me right now. I am digging really deep into just like, I don't even want to like say self-improvement because I'm not improving. Like there's nothing wrong with me that I need to improve myself or fix or like whatever. But I think just like coming back to who I am and like doing a little bit of like we were talking about this in our last episode, but doing a little bit of subconscious reprogramming and seeing maybe where some of my blocks and or triggers, for lack of a better word, are, and like being very upfront with those with myself, and maybe some of my relationships. So that's where what
That's
I
probably
prioritize.
your priority.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say that. So it's like kind of at that like it's like a Venn diagram with mental, spiritual, physical.
Yeah.
And I think that my biggest overlap right now is between that mental and spiritual side of things.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, my mental is, but right now the priority is physical.
I think that's okay. I think
prioritizing the physical is making my mental better.
Yeah.
Because when I'm getting more sleep and when I'm feeling better physically, I think it takes off a load mentally.
And I think that like, if this was a pie, wow, I don't know why I'm feeling so corporate. Pie charts, Venn diagrams, bar graphs. But if this was a pie chart, it's not always going to be a third, a third, a third. Like things are going to be fluid. Sometimes maybe your physical is 95% of what you're prioritizing. And maybe sometimes it's like 5%. And I think just being fluid, and maybe that's a problem that we have in our society at large, is like, everything needs to be balanced, work-life balance, family balance. And like, it's not always about a balance. It's about like a holistic approach to everything. So that's how I feel.
For sure.
What are like 3 things that you're doing right now to prioritize, or that you're doing in your prioritization of physical?
So changing up my physicality in terms of workouts has been a big one. I know I've shared it on the podcast before. I used to be doing Orange Theory. Then I found when I moved, I wasn't really going to the location closest to me. I was spending a lot of money not going. So I did cancel my Orange Theory membership. And I have now joined LA Fitness, which is just like kind of like a big box gym a little bit, but it is meeting the need that I need right now in terms of a place outside of my home that I can go, just not think about work or my personal life and just focus on a workout. And so I think that's like step 1 is just changing out my workout routine. I'm trying to go 4 to 5 days a week, doing low intensity cardio, basically just walking at an incline for 30 to 45 minutes.
You're doing 12, 3:30?
I'm not doing that.
It's really hard.
I'm not doing that, but I did turn on my heart rate level. And so I'm trying to do 30 minutes in a level 2, which is kind of for me between 40 to 50
per minute?
heartbeats.
Beats per minute.
Beats per minute. BPM. BPM. That reminded me of EDM music. So that, and then I've also signed up for a personal training system at LA Fitness. So we'll see how that goes. It's more weightlifting focused, less cardio focused. So I am excited about diving into that and hopefully seeing some results.
And you've like dabbled in weightlifting a little bit more, resistance training, but this will be your first time focusing more on that as opposed to not HIIT.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I'm excited for you.
Yeah. So this new plan has like 10 minutes of high intensity cardio per session, which is amazing. So
yeah, I'm so not a cardio, and I will say that like my physical wellness is like it's not the most top of mind right now, but it's like something that I've spent a lot of time thinking about. And I saw more changes in my body when I lowered my cardio intensity and like scaled up some lower impact things.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see. I've been doing it for about 2 weeks now, and I already feel a lot better. And then also the last part of that is doing 10,000 steps a day.
And you just got a walking pad.
Yeah, I'm loving it so far.
I love that. So that's so cool.
Walking pad and trying to walk outside more, although it's hot as well. Get out. So.
Yeah, you have to go so early or so late.
What about you? What's your...
A few things that I'm doing right now to prioritize that mental, spiritual overlap. One is I've been exploring, so if you guys don't know, there are 8 limbs of yoga, and the asana, which is the like movement part of it, is only one of those limbs. So there's 7 other things that like don't get attention. So I've been focusing on some of those other limbs of yoga as part of my like come back to myself. A lot of like breath work. Mostly breath work has been a big thing for me, and just sitting and doing a little bit more meditation, which are 2 of the limbs. So I've been going to, if you're local to Austin, Lizard Yoga is this really cool spot that has a bunch of different modalities of yoga, not just the flow that people are used to, but some somatic work or breath work or yoga for nervous systems, and exploring a bit more of that and allowing myself to slow down as a Virgo sun and an oldest daughter and a perfectionist and like so many other things. Like I have a tendency to just feel like I need to be doing at all times. So using this as an opportunity to explore the side of myself that gets to just be and not do. My mantra recently is like, I'm a human being, not a human doing, which I've just been repeating to myself.
That's a good one.
Ad nauseum.
I like that.
So that's been a big thing. Spending time with friends and like, I think solidifying some connections has been a really big priority for me over the past few months. And it sounds mean, but like maybe doesn't sound mean. Being more cognizant of how some of these friendship interactions are going, and if I feel, as harsh as this might sound, is this benefiting me? Do I leave these interactions and I feel drained? Do I leave these interactions and I'm like, why did we spend 30 minutes talking about this when like this isn't something I want to talk about? We didn't make any progress. Like I think that there's different ways of looking at friendships, and we have a whole, if you're interested, we have a whole fucking 3-part series about it. So go back and listen. But yeah. I've been exploring since we did that, just exploring how some of my friendships are manifesting.
Yeah.
So just being more cognizant has been really good for my mental well-being, because it's not fun to leave a conversation and feel fucking drained. And then my last way that I'm still working through some of that mental stuff more is like I need to move my body in order to like get nervous energy out almost. So finding more of those lower intensity workouts that allow me to disconnect a little bit from my thinking brain and get to be more in my feeling brain.
Yeah.
So
Those are good ones.
So that's like kind of what I'm prioritizing right now for myself in this phase of life.
I think those are good ones.
Yeah.
I like that last one because it kind of goes into what I've been trying to do. Just like finding ways to work out that doesn't seem like it's a workout and it's a chore.
Yes.
Just like integrating it into the everyday life. And I now like look forward to my 30 to 45 minutes of walking, because it's just like put a podcast on or listen to my audiobook or just listen to a fun playlist, and or even watch an episode of TV on my phone, you know? So.
And I was saying this with Nick yesterday when I was like, oh wow, like in the amount of time that Nick and I have been together, I've gone through so many phases of movement. So when we first started dating, I was really big into CrossFit. I've like gone to weightlifting. I was an Equinox like group class girl for a while. I've gone through so many different phases, and I didn't realize that until yesterday when I was talking about it with him. And he was like, oh, well, like, I guess you're just going to keep trying things until you find like what's most right for you. And I was like, it's not about I don't think there's ever one modality that I will do for the rest of my life. I think it's about finding what's right for you right
in the
now.
Moment. Yeah.
Because what's right for me now was not right for me when I was 25.
Yeah, and let's be real. Like if you love your outdoor walks, but then when it's 100 degrees outside or 25 degrees outside, you're going to adjust what you're doing.
Right. So I think it's just about being fluid with yourself, and not, to me, wellness is just like being fluid and not beating yourself up.
Yeah.
If you're not where you think you should be or need to be, or like insert stipulations here.
Yeah. That kind of goes into one of the ones that I wrote down for myself is nutrition as well, with the physicality priority, and really just restructuring my eating habits. I was the kind of girl, I think I just said this, but that I wouldn't really eat breakfast when I'm at the office. I don't really eat a nutritious meal during the day unless I packed myself a lunch. And then I would get home, be starving, eat everything in sight, and feel gross and yucky. So I have started like planning out my meals for the day, really prioritizing protein and not doing the whole like no carb, low carb thing, but really just emphasizing a healthy balance with the macros. But the one thing I was going to ask you about is with prioritizing protein, how do you find you get all of your protein in? Because I know it ranges. Everyone at a minimum should be having like 0.4 per pound that you weigh, and that's like on the minimum side. But you should really be aiming for 0.8 to 1 gram per, is it gram? Gram per body weight. So for me, that's anywhere from 120 to 145 grams. And I'm like, holy crap. I feel like I don't want to be eating all day, every day, because sometimes I eat and I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
But trying to find ways of incorporating that. And for me, I've found them to be egg whites, smoked salmon, protein powder in smoothies, and protein shakes, and non-fat Greek yogurt, which are a couple of the top things that are standing out to me. But I'm curious, like for you, because you've been doing the macros counting for way longer than I have. So.
I've been counting macros off and on since 2011.
Yeah.
Which is like since I graduated, I've like been counting macros. I'm an OG user of MyFitnessPal, like grandfather me in. Yeah, and actually it's interesting because like right now I'm not tracking. I tend to be, which is why it's been off and on. I can be a little bit obsessive. That's just my personality. My perfectionist qualities coming through. But I still prioritize protein. For me, a big part was I would eat a lot of beef jerky as just like a snack.
Love beef jerky. Your beef sticks.
My beef. Well, I've had to shift recently. You're
not doing beef now. You're doing.
Yeah, I can't eat beef based off of the food sensitivity test that we've both taken. So I'm more of a chicken girl now, but chicken sticks, there's like 10 grams of protein in this like essentially a Slim Jim, but much better quality. Yeah. I use collagen and I will put that in my beverages throughout the day. The key, do not put it in a cold beverage. Do not. It will be disgusting. It will clump. You will be choking it down. It's awful. Don't do it. But like if I'm in the mornings, I tend to make myself like a cup of bone broth, which will have 10-ish grams of protein in the 1 cup serving, and then add in a scoop of collagen. That's 20 grams of protein that I'm drinking, and I don't have to chew anything.
I love it. I mean, I found a protein powder that is unflavored, and you can literally add it to anything. You can add it to water. You can add it to a smoothie. You can add it to your Greek yogurt. And also, this might sound gross, but putting egg whites in the smoothie as well, just to add it.
Yeah, just to add some protein.
Not really has a flavor. It just makes it kind of fluffy.
Yeah. Or if maybe you're making rice or something like that, using bone broth for the liquid or if I'm eating.
That's a great tip. Yeah.
Or if I'm making like ramen, like the packets of like Nangshan ramen, instead of water, I'll use bone broth or like half and half. So I'm getting an extra boost of protein. That's right great. There. You can put collagen or.
I think bone broth just makes it taste more flavorful anyways.
It really does.
Yeah.
You can put collagen in soups or chilies or like pasta sauce. Like it's so easy, much like your unflavored protein powder probably. Yeah.
To
incorporate in things.
What about fiber? Because I know that fiber is a big one for you. I
love talking about fiber.
And I don't think I still am not really hitting my fiber goal, which to me I think is 20 grams a day.
Yeah, probably like 15 to 20 grams for women and like 20 to 25 grams of fiber for men. And we just don't get, as a society, we're not eating enough fiber in general. Yeah. The biggest thing is if you can get like nuts, they're really good. Greens, if you're eating apples, eat the skin. Stuff like that is like the easiest way. My biggest hack, and I know that Nick hates this, especially when we go on vacation, chia seeds in everything. I'll put chia seeds on my salad. I'll put chia seeds, not so much in a smoothie, but like if I'm eating.
But I've had them in a smoothie before.
It just thickens it up a bit. And I don't always love how thick smoothies get. So like that's why I don't.
Yeah.
On a salad, on cottage cheese, love cottage cheese, Greek yogurt.
I can't do the texture. It's the one thing I'm trying to eat small amounts to get used to it.
You're not eating it right. We'll come up with some recipes. I love cottage cheese.
Yeah. The one way I have liked it is when I mix it in like with the egg whites. And so it's kind of like a creamy, cheesy. It's something about the texture, but I've heard like if I just, what is it called?
I don't know.
Blend it, like so that it's more creamy and less
clumpy.
Yeah.
There's also like small curd versus large curd.
Probably need the small curd.
And then there's the brand can make a big difference of how creamy it is. So my favorite brand is Good Culture. It's a very clean brand, and their cottage cheese.
But I would love to, like, it took me a while to get used to Greek yogurt too.
Yeah, it's that tang.
Yeah.
But for chia seeds also, I have no problem. I will put chia seeds in water, let it sit, it absorbs the water, and I will drink it.
Okay.
To just get some fiber in.
Yeah, those are good tips because I know that my fiber intake has not been what it needs to be. And then the last part of what I had with the nutrition was just about supplements in general and things to be thinking about that will help promote the foods I'm eating and the workouts I'm doing just to kind of propel me quicker through. And the one, I just wrote down one, I'm still very new to the supplements world. I know you have a wealth of knowledge about them, but the one that I've recently come to that I've now started incorporating is the essential aminos. And going back to like your, high school science biology classes about, amino acids are the building blocks of protein, and they just really help with repairing and kind of, I heard this on a podcast the other day. They're like the insurance policy for everything else that you're doing for yourself to make yourself better, the foods you're eating, the workouts you're doing. It's like that insurance policy that's making everything else like work.
I love that. I've never heard of it put that way, but I think that's so good.
It's the ones that I get, it's just like flavored and you just put it in water and it's really easy to drink. And
nice.
I know it also has benefits of helping with repairing, your skin, your hair, things like that, especially as you age. So
yeah, I am a lover of supplements. I think honestly, every person should be at least having a multivitamin. Our soil in the Western world, especially in America, is so depleted. Like we are just not getting the same amount of nutrients from our soil and our vegetables as we did 20, 30, 50 years ago. Like there's just a lot lacking in what we're getting. Even if you're
multivitamin.
We're
not going to go through Taylor's whole supplement basket.
I'll go through a few of them.
Yeah.
So I have a greens tincture. So it doesn't matter how many greens that you're eating, you're probably just not getting enough. Like there's just so much that greens and like dark leafy greens do for your body, like vitamin A, retinol. Like there's so much lacking that you're not getting. So we have this. I have some biotin for hair, skin, and nails. We got some minerals for water. So if you're drinking plain water, stop doing that. Add a little bit of minerals, even if it's like a little tiny pinch of salt, sea salt, not table salt, to remineralize your body. Otherwise, if you drink a lot of water, you're just flushing things out of your system.
Instead of replacing. We got some activated charcoal to help your liver. We got, which one's this? Magnesium. Everybody should be doing we could have a whole episode just of me talking about, we got some adrenal supplements. We've got some ashwagandha. There's some holy basil to help with your adrenals. So we got a lot of stuff. But there's just, if you had to start with one thing, I would say that multivitamin. If you're getting a good quality multivitamin, we use Ritual in my household. I know that probably every podcast says that, but I'm not sponsored. I really just love Ritual multivitamins. Nice.
But just cover some of your bases. Get outside, get your vitamin D. Vitamin D is actually not a vitamin, it's a hormone. So you need to be helping with that. And calcium has been a big one for me. So I mean, I could talk about supplements all the live long day.
I know you might need to do a solo one on your supplements and your routines, because as someone, it can be overwhelming. Like, oh my gosh, I have to buy all of these things and spend all of this money. And I feel like it'd be good to tell people, like, if you're gonna start with these ones and then you can grow into these. And that's kind of how I felt about the other supplements I've heard in terms of workout benefits like creatine and things like that. And it's just, I'm not ready for that yet.
Yeah, no, it should be, it can be very overwhelming.
There's so many
this
things.
is overwhelming.
You get so many ads on social media. It's like, you need this to live your healthiest life. And it's like, do I? Or like, is this just
marketing talk?
A nice to have
Yeah.
in terms of what things will help me feel my best self.
Yeah, I'll do a solo just about maybe my supplement routine and if I were to prioritize what you could prioritize. And I think the biggest thing is like what works for me and the way I eat may not work for every single person. So understanding that there's like what works for me won't work for you.
And also sharing like the benefits of each, because to some people they may have things that are more important for them to be working through versus all of them.
Totally.
So,
but yeah, this was just a quick little snapshot into how we're looking at wellness right now. I mean, there's so much more that we could have a whole podcast series just about what wellness is and what wellness means. But this is kind of just a quick little dipping your toe in the water of the Taylor and Allie wellness pool.
Yeah, just currently where we're at with our journeys. I know like if you were to ask us in 6 months from now, it's probably going to be different.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's just, and I think that's the fun thing is, like we said, it gets to be a journey. Your requirements, what you need in the middle of summer is not the same as when it's -5 degrees outside and you haven't been in the sun in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So not that happens here in Austin, but I'm sure for other people it does.
Exactly. That's it. that's
all
the
we
update.
got for you
That's
guys.
the wellness update. So
yeah, we can't wait to hear some of your wellness. Maybe like we didn't even go into some of our non-negotiables for the day, but maybe we'll share some of those on social and just would love to hear what you guys have to say about what things you prioritize in your wellness journey. That's it. Until next time, y'all. See you again soon.